Hello everyone and welcome to Plot Twists. For those of you that don't know, my name is Jessie and I thought today we would talk about my October book haul. I love book shopping. It's dangerously addictive and I always buy more than I necessarily should. So I've purchased 12 books this month to talk about. A good portion of them come from my local used bookstore and some of them are from Barnes & Noble. I also bought my first book of the month box this month. After looking into it, it seems really affordable for what you get. So it's $15 a month and it gets you one hardcover book. If you decide that you want more than that, each additional book is $10 for a hardcover. That's insane. So I think I will definitely be continuing with that, especially after seeing the huge selection that exists. I think it'll also encourage me to expand my horizons and pick books I wouldn't normally pick, which I also think will be good for me. So without further ado, we're just going to dive right in. So if you watched my last video, you know that I purchased The Return by Nicholas Sparks this month. I cannot wait to read this book. He's one of my favorite authors. I think his romances are a lot more realistic than most of what's written, and the characters are so interesting. The settings are always different and interesting, and I just can't wait to read this book. Okay, the next book that I'm going to talk about is The Shadow Queen by C.J. Redwine. Before I even knew anything about this book, even just seeing it in my local used bookstore, I knew it was coming home with me. Very clear that this is going to be some sort of Snow White retelling, and I love fairy tale retellings. But the thing that really sold me about this book, just hope you can see that. This is beautiful. The map on the inside cover, I was done. But in terms of what the book is about, it centers around Lorelai, who is trying to defeat the evil queen, as per usual. And both she and the evil queen have magic. So that's a new and interesting twist that I'm excited to read. It also looks like there's going to be some romance between Lorelai and a neighboring prince. And that also sounds really good. So overall, I think this is a good pickup and I'm excited to read it. The next book that I picked up this month is the collector's edition of Fangirl by Rowell. Carry On is on my TBR for this month, which from my understanding is the fan fiction that is discussed in this book. So I am not quite sure now that I own them both whether I'm going to read this one first or second, but either way, both of those books are going to be on my shortly read list. I am so excited to read this, and it's just such a beautiful copy. Oh my gosh, all the pictures, and then even the actual cover is really cool. In general, I think this is a good pickup, and I'm excited to read it. Okay, the next book that I picked up this month is The Ex-Wife by Virginia Virgin. I just finished reading her H2O series, which is about a world where all of a sudden one day the rain becomes acidic and a teenage girl's plight to survive in these crazy times. And I loved it. I was here for it. Second book was just as good. The way it wrapped up was great. So as a result, I had a lot of interest in this one. It seems like she writes a lot of dystopian books. This particular book centers around a character named River who lives in a world where there are no male humans. And all of a sudden, she finds one. And this is about her struggle to figure out what's the correct next course of action to take once she finds him. It sounds great. I'm excited. Virginia Virgin is great. I think it's going to be a good read. Next book I picked up this month is Wonder by R.J. Palacio. Honestly, if somehow I've managed to miss the hype of this book and haven't heard anything about it really. But I know that it centers around a character who is not typical in some way, shape, or form, and his story, and that just strikes me as a good book. I'm hoping as soon as I finish this to watch the movie because I've heard good things about it, and I think it'll be a good time. Okay, the next thing we're going to talk about is the 2 books that I picked up as a result of Book of the Month. The first is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. I honestly don't know anything about this book, but everything I've read so far by V.E. Schwab has been gold, and I can't imagine that her new book is going to be anything less. I have read her Vicious series, which centers around 2 characters who basically figure out how superheroes are created, and this creates a strong tension between the 2 of them, and it's about their struggles. And I really enjoyed that, so I'm sure this one will be just as great. The second book that I picked up as a result of Book of the Month is Red, White, and Royal Blue, which BookTube is talking about everywhere, and it sounds so great. This book takes place in a world where a female Democrat has just won the presidency, and her son starts to develop a relationship with the Prince of Wales, they've basically been childhood nemesis, and honestly, excluding the romance, which also sounds like it's going to be so good, just reading something that makes me forget the current state of our world, I feel like I really needed that. Also, BookTube has raved about it, and I'm sure it's going to be a great read, so I can't wait for that to get here. Okay, so just a quick note from future Jessie. I received my Book of the Month box, and I just have to share how, I mean, look at these books. So, they look great. They're hardcover. I like that they have this little Book of the Month symbol in the corner, so I remember where I got it, and I'm very pleased with my first order. I am going to link a referral code down here. If you're interested in trying it, it will get me free books, and me having free books is never a bad thing. So just think about it and remember that there's a referral code. Okay, and the last set of books that I picked up this month. I am a huge fan of a series of unfortunate events. I have the first 8 books, and this month I managed to find the last 5 to complete my collection. So this gives me all 13 of a series of unfortunate events. And to be perfectly honest, I'm not sure that I've even read 9 through 13. So this is going to be a good time to sit down and reread the series, which is so good and so quick. And it's a good in-between book read. So yeah. Okay guys, so those are the books that I have bought this month. I ran into some really good sales and some really good finds, and I am so excited to make next month's TBR list because so many good things to put on there. So if you guys enjoyed, please subscribe. I will be posting videos at least once a week, occasionally twice a week, and I look forward to hearing from you guys soon.